Hi guys, my name is Melanie Ludy and welcome to my channel. I teach middle school science in an urban school and I love to learn digital tools to make my teaching more effective. Today we're going to start with the biggest fish in the pond, Google Classroom. Let's go. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about the 5 pages of Google Classroom. There's the home page, stream, classwork, people, and grades tab. All right, guys, so let's start by making a class in the home page. So I'm in Drive right now. If I go to my little 9 box or my waffle, I can go down to Google Classroom and it opens up this home page here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class. I'll go up here to that plus sign. Now I have the option to join or create a class. If I had a code, I would join the class. But because I'm making my own, I'm gonna hit create. Okay, so now I can type in my class name. So let me say like 7th grade. And then I could write like section A. Because my school goes A through E for sections. I could write science in here. And I could write my room as 101. And then I would hit create. I'm gonna create a card and it'll look like this. So you notice it has the title and then it has this little A here. So because I have so many students and I have so many sections of the same class, it'd be very easy for me to get confused and dig around through classes to try and find the section that I'm looking for. So personally, when I make these, I'm going to put the section in the title. So if I want to do that, I just click the little 3 dots. Sidebar, any 3 dots or 3 lines means a menu. So go ahead and open those up whenever you see them, just so you know all the features. So I'm gonna go to edit for right now. And I'm gonna change this to 7A science. Now I'm limited in the number of characters that'll show up, so I want the most important part to be in the beginning. I can still leave this, but I'm actually going to change it to my name because I want my name to show up for the kids. And then the subject and the room don't really come up, so usually I leave them blank, but you can leave them in for now. You see my name and the title, and it has this nice little picture. Other things in this menu, so the copy invite link. When I click on that, it'll just copy it to my clipboard, and then I could paste it, say, in an email to my students if I wanted to invite them that way. There's actually a couple different ways you can invite students. That's a possibility, but it's not my favorite. We'll talk about other ways to invite them as we go through. I can also copy this class and I can archive it. So archiving is just putting it in a storage container somewhere else. It's not actually going to delete the class. It's almost impossible to delete a class, so feel free to click around without fear. Disclaimer. So you might think it would be a good idea to, load up a class, get everything in it that you want, and then, just bulk copy it. Be like, all right, 7A is all loaded up. I'm just gonna go make, a copy for B, C, D, and E. No, not quite. So if you copy a class, the posts that you make for that class will be copied with it, but they won't be published. Meaning you'll have to go into each individual post, click the 3 dots next to it, and hit publish. It will take you forever. I tried to do that this year because I was thinking like you, and it really just did not work out for me. So learn from my mistake. Please just copy your class at the beginning, and then you can bulk add assignments and publish them all at the same time. It'll be much faster for you. It'll work so much better. So let's keep rolling. If you're a teacher, you'll see the to review. If you are a student, it'll say to do. If you are both, you'll have both tabs. The to review tab will be really helpful for you as a teacher. It shows you all of your assignments by class, and it breaks it down into submitted, graded, and still assigned. Once we make it an assignment, I'll show you that view and you'll understand why it's so valuable. And then this calendar here. This is not your normal Google Calendar. This will only have assignments on it that you make in your class. So if you post a link to your virtual meeting, say, that won't be on this calendar. It'll be on their main Google Calendar though. Okay, so also in this card, you have the Gradebook little arrow, and then you have this folder. So it will open your folder in Drive that is associated with this class. So when you make an assignment, it'll create that folder in your Drive and keep it all in a nice tidy file cabinet of Classroom, and you'll be able to check in on those documents there. Okay, so let's look at this main menu here on the home page, because there's a lot to dive into here. So here's your classes. This calendar is just for assignments. It won't have any of your other main things on here. Your to review tab, and then if you create multiple classes, they'll show up here too. You can also check in on your archive classes at any time. Say if you taught 7th grade science last year and you want to recycle some of those assignments, that's where you would go to start doing that. And then the settings down here, this one is big. So let's open up settings, and here you can change your profile picture and you can change your account settings. Unless you're really into Google Classroom and your Google account, you shouldn't need to play in these account settings. The kind of basics in this one right here are sufficient for almost everything you're gonna do. So you can choose to receive email notifications from Classroom about the things that go on in the classroom. On my personal one, I have this untoggled or gray like that. Toggling makes it blue. The reason I don't choose to get emails is because I have the Google Classroom app, which is much more specific with what notifications you will get. We're gonna talk about the app in another video, so be sure to check that out. But if you would choose to receive email notifications, you can get them for a variety of things. So comment on your posts in the stream. We're gonna look at the stream after the homepage. Comments that mention you, so you can actually tag people by their email address in comments. So you would get those by having this one on. Private comments on work. I highly recommend you have that on if you're gonna get email notifications. It's a way for students to contact you privately, and it saves you so much time and effort. For classes you teach, late submissions of work, resubmissions, these I generally have off because I check my to review tab, which tells me those things pretty frequently. Invitations to co-teach, scheduled post, published or failed. I generally don't schedule posts, so I don't really have this on. And then class notifications. You can select specific classes that you want to have on or off. So in the spring, when we first started virtual, I was added to a bunch of other teachers' classes as a kind of tech support. So like a 2nd grade class I was in, I didn't really need to get notifications for any of those things on that class because I wasn't teaching those students. So I turned off notifications for that class. Depending on what you're added on and who you're with, you might want to turn off certain classes. That'll be up to you to decide. So you see I created a 2nd class now. So these cards can actually be dragged and dropped. So I can drag it over and reorder it however I want. I can also hit the move button in the 3-dot menu, and I can move it by list if I really want to. So I can put it at the beginning, I can move it after, however I want to do it. Again, for just 2 classes, it doesn't really matter, but in my main classroom, I have up to 12. So then I really want to keep it organized. So once I have my classes, let me pick one and start there. So I'll pick 7A, and now this first page is the stream. So this is kind of like your news feed, like on Facebook or on Instagram, okay? So you have your little banner and theme at the top, and you can have this expand out to say the subject and the room. Up here it tells you your class, the subject. Here is the class code. You can display it. So if you are in a brick and mortar classroom, this would be a great option for you. You could just display this and kids could type it in once they're in Google Classroom. You can also copy the invite link here, or you can make it even bigger and be full screen so students can really see that. And then you can just click that exit full screen menu here, or that X when you're done. You also have the option to select a theme or upload a photo. Google Classroom will automatically darken it, so that this white text still has enough contrast. I like to have custom ones, but keep in mind it will darken your photos. It is kind of sad. Okay, so your theme. If you click this, you can pick any of these fun themes that they already have created. They have some beautiful ones in here. I really recommend looking through these before you make any custom ones. I really like the ones in math and science. They look beautiful. You just pick the one you like and select. Let me create an assignment for you so it shows up in things. So I just added an assignment, and now you see it comes up in this upcoming here. It says the day and the time it's due, and it even tells me what it is. And if I click this link, it'll take me to the assignment and show me student work. I can also click to instructions, and I can see what the instructions were. I, however, did not write any for this assignment. So if I click back to 7A Science, it takes me to the stream. You'll notice that because I posted the assignment, it also showed up here in the stream. Again, the 3 dots is a menu, so I can click on that and I can edit it. I can copy the link, or I can move a post to the top. So occasionally in the stream, I'll post like an update, like, hey, progress reports come out next week. Make sure you post all of your missing work. That post I would continually move to the top just so it stays fresh in their stream and students remember to do it. So in the stream, I can also send an announcement to multiple classes at once. So I just click here, and then I can click this drop-down menu and select whatever classes I'd like to send that post to. So like, don't forget your homework for Tuesday. So I can send that to multiple classes. Or I can just send it to a few students. However, side note, you can only send it to a few students in one class. So you can't pick like 2 students from class A and 2 students from class B. It's either all of class A and B, all of class A, or just a few students in A. Then I can hit this reuse post button. So I could go to 7A, and here's that post I just did if I wanted to reuse it. I also have this drop-down menu over here of I can schedule it, or I could just save it as a draft. If I hit schedule, I can pick a day and a time that I want it to go up. Say if I want this to be an announcement again next Monday, so my students remember. And also just hit the trash can if I don't want to send this post. Let's go on to the People tab. So People, this is where I'm going to actually add co-teachers, principals if they want to be added, special education teachers, ESL, and then my students. So the little people with the plus is how you add those things, and I can invite myself as a teacher. I'm actually going to invite myself as a student though. So I can use the link and copy it, or I can just add people by email. If your school is like mine and gives students emails in like a Gmail suite, this would be a really great option for you. Bonus points, if you have Focus as your grading system, you can link it to Focus and it'll automatically send those invites for you, so you don't have to type in 200 plus emails. I think some other grading systems do that as well, but check with your school. So I've added myself and I accepted that invite, so now I can show you the full benefits of the menu. So if I click the box next to my name, I can choose a bunch of options. I can email specific students, I can remove a student, and I can mute them. So let's look at mute first. They can still submit work. Other students won't see it though. They can't reply to classmates' work. So this would be like in a discussion board that you can make on Google Classroom. They wouldn't be able to reply to peers. And they can't comment or post. So they can still submit private comments on their assignments, but they can't comment on the stream. They can't comment on the general assignment. So they will appear invisible to the other students in the class. I did have to do this with a student last year when she got a little bit insulting to her classmates. She did not notice, and eventually I did take her off and it was fine. So if I have more than one student in here, I also have the option of emailing them all by selecting this top box. For a student, it'll show me their work, it'll tell me when it is and assigned. If I click the 3 dots next to their name, I can email the student You can also invite a guardian. Mine does not come up because it knows that I'm an adult, but for your students it will. And it'll say invite guardians right here in the middle. Louie, I have to redo this whole cut now. What? So there will be a button in the middle that says invite guardians. And that's a nice feature of Google Classroom because it can send your parents an auto-generated email called a guardian summary. Now, the summary can't show parents the grade. That is a privacy policy kind of thing. It's a known issue with Google and they have no intention of changing that just because of privacy. But it does send them a report of what is due this week and what was missing from last week. So that's a great way to keep your parents involved, and it really involves no work on your part other than adding an email address. So another thing I want to mention to you quickly is if I add co-teachers, so like my special education teachers, maybe a guidance counselor, my principal, I can also transfer ownership of the class, which would take all of those Google Drive files and transfer the ownership of those to that person. So if I know I'm going to go out on maternity leave and I want to transfer all of those files to the new lead teacher, I could do that here. Or say I'm a tech person for my school and I'm just bulk creating all of these classes, but I'm not actually going to do anything really with them. I could transfer ownership to the main teacher after they're created, so then they can then take over the running of them. And the last thing I want to go over is the settings menu inside each individual class. So we looked at the settings menu for all classes, which really deals with notifications and email. This settings menu is for each specific class. So you still see the class details here. And then there's the general, which is your invite codes, the links, the code, and your class view. It also talks about things going on in the stream. So I usually leave students can post and comment on in the stream. However, you won't get notifications when they post in the stream. You'll only get notifications when they comment on one of your posts. So keep that in mind, that if they're like, Miss Ludy, I can't get into the Zoom link, you won't get a notification for that, and then it could be a problem. You also have condensed notifications, or you can get these big full ones. So I leave it on condensed because it just tells me the title of whatever assignment I just posted. If you wanted to show the full kahuna though, like the attachment of the sheet that you want them to work on and the instructions, you could do this one. Some teachers choose to hide all notifications for that. That's really your preference. You can also have it show deleted items, but that's just for teachers. Your co-teachers will be able to see that too if you add them. This one is really the big one, grading. So overall grade calculation. So if your school wants to use weights, this is where you would put it. I would also toggle this button, show overall grade to students. So then when they go to view their work, it'll give them that easy piece of data they can look at. Like, oh, I have a 50. I need to do some makeup work. Or, hey, I have an 85. I'm doing pretty good. And then you can add your grade categories here. So I would maybe type in participation, and then I could write 10. And then I would add another category, and then I would keep going. It has this helpful red reminder of how many categories I still need to add and how much percentage I have left to make sure I get to that 100. Once all of that is done, I can hit save. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for this first Google Classroom video. Be sure to check out the other ones that I've linked up in the eye. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, leaving me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.